Hello, beautiful people. I send nothing but love, peace, and positivity your way. Today, nature was calling my name. I was out running errands, filled up with a lot of thoughts, filled up with a lot of emotions, and decided to come out and ground myself a little bit. You know, while I was, grounding myself, some thoughts crossed my mind, and I'm guessing maybe it's my spirit guides just talking to me, filling me up with information. And the one thing that came to me is when many people walk around with spirits, and they're not always the good spirits. Sometimes they're demonic spirits. Okay, and I'm not talking about the made up cartoon character of a demon red man with horns. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying these are low vibrations that's been passed on through life experiences or learned behavior or patterns and stuff like that, behavior patterns and things like that. But when you will hear me say quite often, we're going through a spiritual warfare or a battle, and that's because if you are interacting with people that have a certain type of mentality, and sometimes you don't relate to that, or you're not on that frequency, you're not thinking like them, you're not acting like them, then that's when things can go wrong. That's when the spiritual, or I'll say the egos, can clash. And an ego is not a terrible thing to have. I mean, there's some people that know how to balance out their ego. They know when to present the positive, supportive side, and they know when to unleash the "don't fuck with me" vibe. They know. They just know how to balance it out. That comes with wisdom, growth, maturity. But I will say this: when you do go into any type of religious sector or building or institution, keep in mind you will be exposing yourself to a lot of different spirits. And when I say spirits, I mean some people go to church because they are filled with the 7 deadly sins. Some people go to church because they need to repent because they're battling with sex addictions, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, greed, all types of addiction, money addiction, and it's pretty much consuming their life, and it's to the point where they don't know what to do. And they feel like, okay, if I just repent and just go on about my business, that's going to solve the issue. And no, it doesn't work like that. That's exactly why there's a such thing as a counselor. There's a such thing as a psychiatrist. There's a such thing as mental health medicine and hospital. It doesn't quite work that way. It's all about your mindset. And so when you in that building with all those different types of entities, spiritual entities that's floating around, you need to make sure you are prepared to go to war, because those same type of spirits will attach to your spirit. And then you're walking around trying to figure out, okay, I just finished praising the Lord and I was just excited, and now I feel like crap. And so you just got to keep that in mind. There are things that you have to put in place to protect your aura, to protect your mindset. You know what I mean? And so I'm not trying to, deter you from attending any type of religious institution. It's just you need to be mindful that, some people don't know. Some people don't know why they go through these mood changes when they are surrounded around not just people in church. You can be around people on your job every day, and they coming in with all these different mood swings and different attitudes. Are they trying to be sneaky and plot and throw you under the bus or gossip about you? That is spirit. That's a type of spirit that can be easily passed on to you, because what they'll do is they'll pull you in to the gossiping. They'll try to set you up, and then you be like, oh, well, how did I get pulled in some crap like this? And then, now people hating on you because you hanging around somebody with a low vibration and a very negative mentality and attitude. And so with that being said, when you are pretty much put into a family that you just, I'm not here to bash and talk down about family, but you just got to keep in mind that the same type of spirits that's out there in other people. You can find them in your close loved ones, and including your partner. And sometimes, you're trying to figure out, okay, well, how and what can I do? I don't want to destroy the relationship that I have with my loved ones. But at the end of the day, you have to think about what is best for you at the end of the day, because when you came into this world, you came into this world with one spirit, right? At the time, you didn't have, you know, um, two different spirits, trying to enter your body. I mean, then again, who knows? That's why there's people diagnosed with personality disorder. So I don't know. I don't know. I might be wrong on that. Y'all don't quote me on it. Just look that one up. But I just know when I say spirit, when a doctor checked the baby, they only hear one heartbeat. They only see one brain. So that's kind of what I mean by that energy that enters the baby body. And so when you are being brought into this world and you are included in a family that is going through a lot of spells and generational curses, it's like that's something that's out of your control. But I still feel like there's a purpose and there's a need for you to be in that family, whether it is to learn a lesson or teach a lesson. That's just how I see it. And so with that being said, I have been brought up, with parents, and I'll just say with a parent that really like to vent a lot, and they complain about my siblings, and they don't understand that a lot of the complaints are behaviors that was passed down to me and my siblings. When you complaining that, we have such a harsh way of saying things, we're so rude, we're so mean, we're so nasty and all this, you got to keep in mind, where did we learn that from? Okay? That's just what it is. And so the sad part about it is sometimes you're brought up with people that do not want to face their childhood trauma. And so if they don't face it and they don't get the information, because let me tell you, the information is out there. When I go back through a lot of YouTube videos, I have ran into videos that, like VHS type videos, that show spiritual leaders explaining how to clear up generational curses, how to clean your aura, how to, make better choices with your food, how to make choices with the men that you entertain. I've seen videos, Dr. York, what is it, Shabazz. It's just people from before I was even born preaching the same stuff that I'm talking about today. So it's hard to believe that, your past, your grandma, your past family members didn't have access to this. Now, I will say this: when there's a system in place, which is the governmental system, they make sure that you don't know yourself, and that's because they distract you with either poverty, they distract you with having the urge to just constantly have a lack mindset and go after money and lose yourself in it, to the point where now you're so focused on money, you forgot about having self-love and being supportive and passing on positive information onto your little ones or the next generation. And so we have a lot of families that's caught up in that type of that's a low vibration. Whether we want to face it or not, it's a low vibration. Yes, money is energy that is needed to survive in this system. But like I said, anything that consumes your life to the point to where you are willing to do some strange things for some change, that is low vibration. And so, when I have family members that's trying to voice their opinion about you should never made choices, or telling me that I should have did this or I should have did that, and they don't have the best example in life, sometimes you got to say to yourself, thank you for the opportunity, but now it's time for you to figure it out. And that's just all it is to it. When a parent is trying to tell you how to use your money, this and this and that, and they never set you up for success, they never taught you about credit, they never taught you about how to not depend on the government, that is something that it falls on deaf ears. When you have a parent that's trying to tell you, not to be a hoe, not to be, being with different men, but then they're not showing examples of how to be a classy virtual woman, then that's like, okay, what's the point? What's the point? And so let me tell you what's been that I noticed, and I'm not ashamed in my game. I like to learn from my mistakes, and then make the changes, and then share it with other people that might be in the same boat. I noticed that my mom was very codependent on either the government or some type of low vibrational man. And so it got to the point to where she started to lose herself in things like that. And a lot of these men would bring in their spiritual demons of alcohol, drugs, and control and abuse. And then it's like it will affect her mentally and emotionally to cause her to indulge in unhealthy things. And then it will cause her to affect me and my siblings to the point to where we're starting to have low self-esteem. We're starting to feel unimportant. We're starting to feel like, we need to do the same thing. Go out and look for love and look for validation in all the wrong places, all the wrong type of men, the same low vibrational men, just probably on a different level, different year. All right. But nothing under the sun is new, And so, back then, during my mama days, it was all about, the meth and the crack cocaine. Nowadays, in the modern time, it's about Molly. It's about, fentanyl. But I'm pretty sure enough people done came to their senses to know how deadly that is. So, but yeah, drugs from back then, they just have a different name, same outcome. You lose your family, you lose your mind, you lose your dignity. That's the side effect. So I'm just saying, all right, so now when my mom, she gets older, she feel like she got the wisdom, she knows all of her mistakes, learned from most of her mistakes. Now it's like, oh, and I went and got saved. Now I'm up here, and now my daughters, I'm gonna judge them. I'm gonna call them stupid asses. I'm gonna belittle them because they're mimicking the same behaviors that I taught. And so I don't think that's fair. And if you do have a parent like that, you need to definitely take back your power. And I don't care. I'm not saying you got to be rude and disrespectful, but just because that's your mother or just because that's your father or whoever raised you does not give them the right to reign or belittle you or make you feel less than just because they done they're older and they done got tired of ripping and running the streets. So, and now they want to judge you because you're mimicking the same behavior. No, that's not right. And so a lot of times people will make poor choices and then they feel like, okay, I'm gonna run to the church and then that's gonna clear me up, and then I go out there and repeat the same behavior, and then I'm gonna make poor choices and I'm gonna just hurry up and read a Bible script and then think that's gonna clear out my karma or clear out the curses. And it don't work that way. It just does not work that way. And so trust and believe. I'm not talking out of my ass. I'm telling you things that I have experienced in my life. And so because of her behavior affected my behavior, I ended up in an abusive marriage and thinking that, okay, that's the only thing, this is my life. This is how it's supposed to be. This is the norm. And no, it's not. No, it's not. I didn't get with the same type of men exactly that my mom had in her life. But this man, he was damn near close. No, he wasn't an alcoholic. But his behavior and his outbursts and his aggressiveness was just like he had about 5 cases of beers or 4 bottles of vodka or something like that, tequila or whatever. Yeah, it was damn near close. No, he did not smoke and do hardcore drugs, but a lot of his choices, it seemed like it was quite there. It was quite there. And so I became very closed off, very distant, very emotional, very confused. And so now I'm noticing all of those traits, including depression, is passing on to my children. And so now I have to try to find every inch in my body to break the habit of passing on those negative, low vibrational spirit from one person to the other. Because if I don't do it, then it'll just be something that's going on from one generation to another generation, one generation to another generation. And then, and that's not healthy. That is not healthy for an individual or for this society. This is why we have a lot of crime rates. This is why we have a lot of unwanted pregnancies and a lot of viruses floating from one person to the other, because people are losing self-respect and they're fucking around thinking that, oh, it's cool, and they're trying to prove a point and they don't understand the detriment in it. And so this is why I felt I was brought into this world, into a crazy ass family. I was brought into this world to be the oddball, intentionally to be the black sheep, intentionally to go through the struggles and the trauma that I went through, because my spirit guides, my ancestors, they knew that it was something in me versus some other people in the family that could help me snap out of the patterns that they left behind. And so, yes, when you're living in the flesh, you don't understand the detriment and the decisions you're making based on influences, based on um, setups from the government. You know, the government don't want black families to succeed and to be a unified family. They want to look good, and they want to make sure their people are good. So, oh, the yellow butterfly came out. I love butterflies. They're so beautiful. But yeah, the government, they set things in place for other people to succeed, whether it's mentally, emotionally, financially, even health wise. That's why a lot of Western doctors, when you look at some of the information they share, it's based on food that white people started eating and made us eat. Like the slave owners, they forced that onto the slaves. And so, yeah, of course they're going to know a little bit about our body, but really we are designed in a very different way. We have a unique spiritual power that they know about and they don't want us to know about. So that's why they, interrupt us with unhealthy foods and pizzas and burgers and things that damage our mindset and our growth. So with that being said, y'all, just keep in mind that you are not your past. You are not the people that you come from. Yes, you may have some of their DNA, but you may be designed in the family to break curses, not join in the detriment of the family generation. Keep in mind that you have the power to fight through all of the temptation, all of the judgments um, and setbacks that people try to throw at you. You are important. You are loved. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let anybody to dangle money in front of you so you can lose yourself and get desperate. I don't care how much my ex-husband tried to withhold money from me and then want to sprinkle money here and there when he know damn well my bills are constantly coming in. I don't care how much he tried to get into my head or try to make me feel some type of way through my children. I'm still going to push through. I'm still going to be strong. I'm still going to make sure at the end of the day, when I take my last breath on this earth, it won't be because I won't be feeling guilty. I won't be feeling like, oh man, I should have made different choices. I want to be proud and to the point where I did my job, I completed my task, and I don't have to come back to this fucking place. That's what I want it to be. So I'm going to end it here and go ahead and take care of some business. I think I got all of the grounding I need to keep me going for the next week. And until next time, y'all stay positive and be easy. I'm out.